It's a family swimming up there, splashing about. I'll only have a rubber ring, it's safe. It's not fast flowing, is it? Nice area, isn't it? Not a nice place to come for a picnic. And a look round the museum, not sure where the museum is. That little road come out at the back of the White Bull pub. 1707, but the pub were closed. I was going to go in and have a shandy and see if the football was on telly. See how England's doing close to half time. And it's dead. No sign of any Roman festival. There's an old church here, and what's that? Dead end. Is it an ancient church? Oh, yeah, Roman Museum here. Is it closed? Opening time, Saturday 12 till 5. 11 till 5:30, June, July, August. The archaeologists. I'll pretend not to notice them. See if there's any ancient gravestones. It's all done it. Yes, I know what you're thinking, stuff candy. 1842, 1840. (1824), 1817. Oh, it's like I said, all the really ancient ones don't stand up to the weather. There's some in Colne, 1626. I think they were inside a church for a while, so they were preserved. (1826). No, not ancient, sorry. (1850 something), that's when my house was built. It's very old though. Let's see. I could look over the wall and see if the archaeologists are being communicative or not. I presume that's what it is. It might just be buckets of nothing. These are all modern ones, aren't they? Hello, sorry to disturb you. I've just been for a look at the bathhouse, and on the local radio it mentioned you found shoes and things. Is that correct? Wow. Are they all packed away? Or do you not allow filming? I film interesting things in Lancashire, you see. And when I heard that on the radio, I thought I'd come down. I've just had a look at the bathhouse, and there were no disturbances there. Is it being dug elsewhere? All right. Oh, thanks very much. Oh, I didn't want to disturb everybody if you're busy doing your archaeological digs. Oh, I wonder where the Roman festival was taking place. It all seemed rather quiet. I thought it had all been cancelled because of the football. Well, I was just saying, I've got the camera on. I was filming the bathhouse, and I've come here because I heard some noise, and I understand this is where the dig's going on. Is that correct? And on the local radio, it says you've found some shoes.
Sorry, I'll just have to check with our site directors about filming. It's just that we have certain students who requested not to.
Oh, really? Oh, it doesn't matter. I don't want to disturb you if there's any problems.
No, I'm welcome to come and have a look and have the tour, but I have to check about filming.
Yeah, I can understand people being a bit concerned. There's a thing there saying no cameras, I think, isn't there? Is that what it says?
Obviously, some people they don't want to be information.
Right. Yeah. It's okay. I just wonder what we're going on.
Oh, well, then we can tell you what's going on.
But when it said on the radio they found shoes, I thought, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, so found a series of hobnails. I think we're up to 60 like that now, but yeah.
Wow.
That we found now, they have hobnails, so hobnails are what they used to hold the leather together, and that's yeah. Well, with those like the remains, the imprints, then it's a very dry area that's so
Oh, right.
leather preservation.
Oh, good, yeah.
Found evidence.
They weren't in peat then, preserved in peat, you know. Right. Because the alkaline can preserve things better, can't it? Yeah. Right, okay. There's a few interesting historical things. Just up the road there's a thing called the Written Stone. I've heard about that. 1665, Ralph and his witch's curse. Oh, lovely. Oh, yeah. Right.
So there's a giant wall probably around almost 2 meters wide.
Yeah.
That run all the way through the Vicar's Garden all the way into the graveyard.
Wow.
Also you can see a granite plating across.
There's no human remains then, is there not? Nothing connected, because the church would have been a lot later on, of course, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So if we found human remains, we would not be excavating.
Oh, no.
There are human remains, then we get shut down as a site.
Really? Oh, dear.
We're not allowed to touch human remains. We've got to go through forensics and make sure it's not research.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so human remains are not a good thing. Yeah, so we found a variety of bones and pottery and things like that.
Right. Yeah, it mentioned pottery on the radio, but when it said shoes, I was fascinated because that's a personal connection to the actual residence, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So we found, like, for instance, this is a cow's vertebrae as well.
Oh, yeah, wow.
So this is a series. Most of the bones we have are cows, and we've had a couple of pig ribs as well. Other things that we found as well are this is a piece of pottery that we can see here. So this one is actually would have been used to green and that.
It's with design on it.
Yeah. So
Oh, right.
so it's got a cross, and you can see it's slightly worn in some sections as well.
Wow.
So that's just to remember that up top there. So it would have done like that, quite a deep bowl as well. So you ground.
Yeah, I was a big fan of Time Team, and that professor could see things and then put it on the screen. So, well, I know for a fact, due to the radius of the curve, it was this big. It was amazing, but he died, didn't he? That chap off Time Team.
Other things we found are pieces of tile as well. So these are like roof tiles.
Wow.
Like even on the village hall and that series of tiles that they used as well.
Yeah.
We've got a number of these. Other things that we found, this again is a little bit of pottery on this.
Yeah.
This is probably CBM. So CBM is ceramic building material.
Right.
So we would put it into walls of decoration or something like that.
Yeah. It's funny, I was just saying when I was in the bathhouse, we have a few sort of tatty remains, and yet in Italy they've got a magnificent gladiators theatre and auditorium. But I said, well, what we have is interesting, but it pales into, well, not insignificance isn't the right word, but when you compare what Italy has where they actually were.
Yeah,
I mean, what sort of year was it when they were here? Was it BC or AD, about 500 years?
yeah, so the first Roman fort here was actually a wooden fort, and it was built around 72 AD. Then the stone fort, which is what we're currently excavating, came around the 3rd century.
Yeah.
So there was around 500 cavalrymen
Wow.
that were here, and yeah, so they were here for like.
Well, I was speculating, why did they leave? Was it the climate? Was it the end of the Roman Empire and the conquering phase? Why did they decide to just call it a day and go back home, I wonder? Was it the marauding Scots tribes mainly?
Yeah, so that's what we're trying to find.
Queen Boadicea, they just didn't like her.
Yeah, so that whether they actually left and they went back to Rome, or whether they just they evolved into like the civilization that we've got.
Oh yeah, a few remained, didn't they? Yeah.
So that whether instead of being with the other societies that surrounded them, rather than having like a straight Roman occupation, there's different theories in that, and we can't decide exactly the date.
No, no.
Kind of all finished up, whether when the Roman Empire finished.
Hmm.
Yes, it's speculated around 410 AD. No exact date just yet. Other things that we've got is there's holes down here, so these are all cesspits along here.
Oh wow.
And there's a large structure right in the front where you can see there's some red. That is actually what we think is maybe a well.
Right, so there's no water course from the bathhouse. I thought, would there be a spring from the river? But it was uphill from the river.
Yeah, so it's more likely that they would have had slaves that probably boiled water.
Yeah, I was saying that. They'll had slave girls to add big urns of warm water in the bath.
Yeah,
Add more steam.
yeah. Because in the Roman bathhouse was actually a small room for preparation.
Right.
For it. Other than that, we've got a main road that comes through.
Oh, abroad, right.
Yeah, one of the roads that comes up. Along the edge of the wall to the left, you can actually see near the bottom are actually a series of stones and cobbles. That's actually the road to the
Wow.
fort, which is the north entrance.
Yeah.
We haven't excavated it because it means we're going too far to the left, so we're focusing on the section here. But yeah, it goes off to the northwest.
Excellent, right.
So
Well, I was a big fan of Fred Dimner. He loved our English history, and he went to the remains of a Roman bathhouse in the Lake District, and there was a channel of water, a natural spring, which was a latrine, and he said they'll all have sat there, and it would have flowed downhill. So they had a better idea of hygiene and cleanliness, and even in the Victorian age, Britain was a bloody big smelly cesspool, and yet the Romans had it worked out 2,000 years before. It was 1865 when Joseph Bazalgette sewered London. There was a year of the big stink, wasn't it? Yeah, so the Romans had it sorted out long before, and then we forgot about it all, and then just dumped our filth in the streets.
yeah, so they did have like drainage ditches on each side of the road up there, but we've removed them since.
Right.
Just to look at what was underneath, because they were actually built later up.
Yeah, that's a place to find all the interesting things that have been sort of lost in the grubby parts, and the Romans wouldn't have felt like retrieving them.
Yeah,
So any brooches or something, or
that, and then on the left-hand side, there are remnants of what may have been a fence as well.
oh wow,
Separating what was the workhouse in front of us, that was originally over the cesspit, but we've removed that layer to get down into the cesspit underneath.
right.
Clay layer on top. But yeah, that fence was separated the workshop from the granaries, and we're trying to figure out why they would have separated
Yeah.
the two, what the relationship between the two were.
That's right. Yeah, oh, fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
So nothing intact then, all little crumbly bits.
Yes, unfortunately.
Finding stuff that's not been cracked is almost impossible.
Yeah, so the only way to get well preserved stuff is if this place was actually waterlogged, so places
Yeah,
water
yeah.
closer to the river.
Do you know the story about the helmet, the famous helmet? The British Museum have it, and they've got a bloody replica here. I thought that's rather unfair.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they do have it there. It's in a corner of the museum.
Yeah, I went there about 15 years ago,
Yeah.
but I've not been anywhere much since. I'm off work for 2 weeks as of next Friday, so I'm going to go to Chester and York, because I'm into the Viking era as well. But I'd love to go to London again, but I'm afraid it's out of the question with London hotel prices. Well, even London's only got a wall. This is the remains of the Roman wall. I thought, is that it? Just a little section in the Barbican area, and then there's another little piece. But I suppose it's interesting, but like I said, compared to what's in other countries, of course. Although you shouldn't dismiss little bits, it's still fascinating. Yeah, well done, very, very well done. It's very gratifying to know people are interested in history. I certainly am, but a lot of people don't really. I don't know, is it still taught in schools? I was saying that. Last weekend I was in Astley Bridge, which is a coal mining museum near Manchester. And I thought, do they still take kids and teach them about the Lancashire industrial heritage? Coal mines and things? I don't think they do. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh good. Excellent, yeah. Right, well thanks very much. Should I sign this book, or is it just for VIPs? Yeah, if you're interested I'll put my YouTube address, because like I said I do historical films. I've got 650 on my channel, not all history but a lot of them are. I visited Salisbury Hall and Horton Tower, which is 1565, Salisbury Hall's 1320. And there's, like I said, lots of Lancashire history. In fact, when I was at the Written Stone, I was telling the story about old Ralph thought he'd been cursed by a witch, so he laid this stone to lie forever. L-Y-E, will lie. And when I got home I fell off my motorbike and someone said that's Ralph's curse. And then later on a chap said, look at that. I said, what? I said, I went to that Written Stone that you were filming at, a 1562 sixpence. And he's shown it me, and it had Elizabeth I on a little ding, but it was perfect apart from a little ding. I looked on eBay, worth £400. I said, hang on, Ralph Stone's 1665, why would there be a 1562 sixpence 100 years earlier? And he said, well, obviously a local's kept it and left it under the stone as a sort of tribute to the witch's curse type of thing. But yeah, there's all little things. I didn't even know about Ralph's the Written Stone until I read about it. Okay, well thanks very much for your time, it's fascinating, thank you. Is the museum closed? It seems to be all closed up. I didn't see any, it should be open, it said until 1730, which is R5, isn't it? Right, well thanks very much. They'll come in this way. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, let's have a look at this sign. The granaries. Oh, I had no idea there was another piece of the bathhouse. Granaries were fine. Close to the headquarters. Store enough grain to keep the garrison stationed, fed for up to 12 months. This was a continual problem to the Roman army, which devoted considerable time and effort to ensure the supplies were adequately maintained. An officer at the fort would have been charged with responsibility for the upkeep of supplies. Flag floor free from pests. Grain cool, blah, blah, blah. In 1908 excavations, a layer of charred spelt wheat was discovered amongst the rubble, showing the granaries were burnt out, probably deliberately, just before the garrison at Ribchester was ported elsewhere. Oh, so it were burnt down as they left. And that was, what's just over there? That's fortified gatehouse. Now all gone. I'm surprised that was an Australian girl. I don't know if you could hear what she was saying. She said some people aren't comfortable with being photographed, which I can understand. I certainly wouldn't be. So there we are, a bit of local history, and even though it's fairly close to my home, I've never been before. Just been to the museum, that's all. Many years ago. Does this lady know if it's closed? Is this museum closed, you know? It says it should be open till 5:30, but I think because of the football and because the archaeologists are working there, maybe they've closed early or something. Have you seen the archaeological dig round here? They're digging up the old site of where the garrison was, and they've found shoes, pottery and coins. Yeah, they're all digging behind here. I was just filming. There's an Australian girl said, "Oh, are you filming?" I said, "Yeah, I film interesting things." Said some of the students don't like being filmed. I said, "It's alright," but she was showing me all the pottery they've found. So it was interesting, you know. Yeah, I've not been in there since I was about 10, so I thought I'd take in the museum as well as this dig. I think I'll go home, it's too hot for bike clothing. Yeah, it's very interesting though. Just up there is where the actual dig is. Apparently it's where they used to store all the grain for the troops. Oh, well, very good of her to tell me what's going on. Small white lie there. I don't think I can afford to go to York and Chester, even though I'd love to. Maybe I should just forget about the expense and go anyway. I mean, York will be... Where's Chester near? I could go on the bike to Chester. I mean, I was nearly there when I went to Liverpool to buy a motorbike once. It's only around the corner, another 30 miles or so, I think. Even on the train. Maybe about £25 return from Preston, I think. They say that them columns there, nothing behind it, were pinched from some of the Roman buildings. You know, in the Middle Ages, like I said, that was built in 1707. You can imagine the locals raiding all the old buildings to get their hands on interesting bricks. Save them carving bricks and things. Is that one way? Oh no, I think it was one way or the other way. Hasn't been closed. I could have just done with a pint or something. 1707. But like I said, at the end of the day, they're just bits and pieces, aren't they? Whereas in Italy, they've got wondrous, huge structures. So that's the other entrance. No, it isn't. Which one was it? Yeah, it is. Little side entrance. I'll just show you in case you're going to visit, if you're into history. White Bull there, green side. And it's that little side turning. Where's the other road go there then? There we are. Roman bathhouse. Yeah, bits of pottery don't float my boat. Have you noticed I didn't ask about coins? I'd love to have seen some coins, but they might be worried about security in case I'm one of those thieving gits that steal stuff. Did you say anything one way? I don't think it is one way. Yeah, I've been with a bunch of Australian students. I bet they're in this pub every night getting plastered. Never noticed that before, written in stone, Ribchester New Hotel. I thought my mum and Ernie might be there, like I said, seeing as he lives here. So, there we are. Roman Britain. Why did they clear off? She wasn't sure, but a lot of sort of normal Roman families remained and intermingled and probably bred with our locals, whoever they were. Was it Normans and Saxons, or was that later? Yeah, slow down. Pakistani boy racer. So I think I'll go home. I've got 4 litres of Ben Shaw's shandy in the fridge. I'll glug a couple of pints of that shandy down. It's actually quite tasty. Like I said, that stuff should be in pubs, especially for bikers, because rather than real beer shandy, that's £1 for 2 litres, so they could charge £1 a pint, which is reasonable, and still make lots of profit. Ben Shaw's shandy. Delicious. I didn't have anything to eat neither yesterday, so I'll be getting something to eat when I get home. I'm meant to be on a diet again. More wet tyre. red light jumpers, no. This is pretty quick for me. I'm trying to get a draft on my jacket. It's not normally a speed freak. Like I said, I'm always concerned with what's going to pull out potentially. Plus, I'm not one to anger local residents. I never knew the Roman settlement was to that extent. I mean, as well as a bathhouse, you expected there to be some kind of accommodation, but I didn't know stuff still remained. Settlement by the river. I wonder if I focused on toilets too much with that girl. Well, like I said, that's what Fred Dimner did. He said, oh, they had a sponge on a stick, and they all sat there on the Roman thunder boxes together. And I thought, well, would they be together? Or if we're a civilised race, which they were, would they not have had curtains up? You know, curtains and wooden poles wouldn't have remained, so therefore I think there would have been curtains between the bogs. You wouldn't sit there next to someone having a crap, would you? Yeah, the Romans had all the sewer systems sussed, and then it was all forgotten about, and in the Middle Ages we just had rivers of crap flowing everywhere and cholera epidemics with people dying due to drinking contaminated water. I'm still filming, I hope so. I didn't give this battery a full charge. This has had a dusting. They were dusting down here a couple of years ago during a heat wave, dumping salt dust on the wet tarmac to dry it out. So, Australian students. It's nice that we have all this history for Australian students to be interested in, because their history didn't really begin until the 1700s. This is wet tar as well. Will it be slippy or sticky? Hey, should I go down Clitheroe? The football will be over with. Oh, not quite. I'll go to Clitheroe and see if them lads at work are watching television at Holmes Mill. This is that awful bumpy road though. You're bumpy on the other side. Oh, my back. Oh, so bumpy it joys your bloody back. It's a sudden dip. It's not a bump, it's a dip. Worse than a bloody bump. So no matter how slow you go, you still get a jarring effect. See for miles up here. This little hamlet is called York. Nothing to do with Yorkshire York. So how's England done, I wonder? Will they all be throwing the glasses about if they lose? I'll probably get there just in time for the final whistle. Nice journey, isn't it? Leafy lanes, but very bumpy. And so bumpy you can't see what's going on in the shadows. She sort of merged with the pattern of the leaves. Any unevenness. Yeah, slow down a little bit, cyclists. We get to this hairpin bend at the bottom, I'll see if the battery's still running. Why didn't I charge it up? Twerp. Sort of avoid the bumps by going to the extreme left or right. Well, not quite as severe. Maybe I should have got up earlier and set off on a long ride, but like I said, I was shattered after a week at work. Did that quite well, didn't I? Right, let's have a battery test.